Did you study for the test? What test? There could be a pop test. I don't think the teacher would do it. Welcome, class. So today we are going to learn about mitosis. So I'm going to need your undivided attention. I have a joke. Can I say it? Okay, thank you. What did one cell say to his sister cell that stepped on his toe? Mitosis! Anyway, we're going to start now. First, before we even learn about mitosis, then we have to go through the process of the cell cycle. The cell cycle describes the life of a cell, including its growth and division. So its growth being that it carries out all its functions, meaning if you're an intestine, I didn't say that right. Intestine. Thank you, Pedra. You are welcome. Okay, going back to it. If you're an intestine, I get this. Intestine. You're an intestine cell. You, real life. God, I'm such a bad teacher. Anyway, if you're a cell in the intestine, for example, your job as a cell would be to absorb the nutrients from all the food you eat. Okay? Yes. So that would be your growth. Now, next part. It is essential to human life. Meaning without the cell cycle, we wouldn't be able to live. There are three parts to the cell cycle. Interphase, mitosis, which we will be focusing on, and cytokinesis. The first part of the cell cycle is called interphase. It is the longest part of the cycle. Cells manage to grow and carry out the life functions. Like I said before, if you are a cell in the intestine, your job would be to absorb all the nutrients from the food you eat. That would be your life functions, and that's all you know. Then, after this is all done, the nucleus copies the DNA. The process of this is called replication. So, the nucleus... I have a question. Yes. Why is it called replication? I'm going to explain that right now. Because the nucleus makes a replica, an exact replica of the DNA. Splits into two. Thank you. You're welcome. The second part of the cell cycle is called mitosis. This is the part we will be focusing on for most of the evening. Now, the process of mitosis is the nucleus of the cell divides into two equal and identical parts. Each part has its own copy of DNA. That is why there's DNA replication. So, the two equal parts will be exactly identical, and they're kind of like clones of the original cell. This is the shortest stage of the cell cycle, even though most of the stuff in the cell's life happens in this stage. The nuclear contents divide, as said here, into two equal parts, and two daughter nuclei are formed. So the nuclei would be the nucleus, and there are two of them forming to make two new whole cells. So, mitosis is formed in stages. There are 4 stages of mitosis that you will need to know and remember. 4 stages. 4 stages of mitosis that you will need to know and remember for the test. So if you're not writing this down, I don't know what you're going to do. Anyway, the first stage of mitosis is prophase. The nucleolus and nuclear membrane from the original cell disappear. So basically, the cell surrounding the chromosomes, the nucleus surrounding the chromosomes, just disappear, and it's just a whole bunch of chromosomes floating in cytoplasm, the gooey stuff of the cell. Spindle fibers form and attach to the centromeres of the chromosomes. Spindle fibers are like these really stringy things that form inside the cell, which attach to centromeres, which is the middle of the chromosome. It's like the little dot inside of the chromosome. So the chromosome is like an X right in the center. The second stage of mitosis is metaphase. Here, the spindle fibers attached to the centromeres of the chromosomes pull the chromosomes so they align at the equator of the cell. So the cell is like a globe, pretend, and the equator of the cell would be the middle. So the spindle fibers would pull all the chromosomes so they're like around the middle of the cell. Yes? The third stage of mitosis is anaphase. So in here, spindle fibers pull their sister chromatids, the middle of the chromosomes, to opposite poles of the cell. So basically, the cell is like this, and the spindle fibers will pull the chromosomes and split them into two, so that one part of the chromosome goes to one side of the cell, and the other one goes to the opposite side. And last but not least, telophase, the last stage of mitosis. The spindle fibers disappear because their job is done, and a nuclear membrane forms around each separated set of chromosomes. So the nuclear membrane, which is the outside of the nucleus protecting it, will form, so over here, around each two sets of chromosomes. Then the nucleus forms, which is where the chromosomes are contained. And with that, two new nucleuses are formed. Two daughter nuclei. Wow. And the last part of the cell cycle, because the mitosis isn't done, is cytokinesis. After the separation of the two nuclei at the end of telophase, the cell contents divide into two daughter cells. This is important, so I suggest you write it down. Now, the two daughter cells are two new, completely new cells. And they're extremely identical because they have the same DNA, because it is a replica of the other one. Make sense?
We're going to be studying our focuses on today on mitosis. I'm taking like 10 AP. Oh, it's the therapy dog. I love her.
What are we going to do in this scene?
Excuse me?